Only reading book with smut is just as bad as having addiction. Old and it's tired and we need to move on to something that actually matters. I actually think that opinion is a little bit misogynist. Colleen Hoover's books are just trauma dumps. Shut up, shut up. People are always claiming in the comment section that I just like to be mad about things. And I understand why people think this, because a huge part of my online presence is de-influencing you for products. And how I do that is by telling you why they suck. So everyone's like, you're always so negative. And you know what? It's not just me, it's you as well. You're also negative. So when I was thinking of YouTube video ideas and you guys keep requesting book hot takes, I am the queen of bookish hot takes, okay? My entire YouTube, my entire Instagram is me de-influencing you from products, giving you my hot takes on bookish ideas and opinions. And this video is perfect for that reason, because instead of me just telling you why I hate something, you guys get to tell me your hot takes, and I'm so excited. I was reading through these before the video, and I saw a couple ones that were like so juicy and fun, so I'm so excited to get into them. But before I start reacting to your hot takes, I wanted to give you a couple of mine, just because we're creating a safe space here. We're not trying to expose anyone without exposing me first. So, some bookish hot takes I have. Number one, I don't like fantasy. I'm not a fantasy reader, and I feel like that turns a lot of people off of my content, and that's okay. I love people who read fantasy. A lot of my friends love fantasy, and they read it. A lot of the content creators that I adore read fantasy, but it is not my cup of tea, and I don't like it, and I find it really confusing, and I find it to be way too much world building to get to the actual information. Like, I just find myself getting bored, like, before I can actually enjoy it. Another hot take that you guys already know, but I think that people buy way too much bookish products in order to read. I feel like all we need to read is like ourselves, and then like the ability to read, and then like the library, and that's it. We don't need to have any fancy books. We don't even need to purchase any books. If you have access to a library, you have access to reading. And I feel like we overcomplicate it with all these products. I feel like capitalism tries to ruin reading for all of us, and I hate it. So that's why my entire channel is trying to get you guys to get back to the roots of like simple reading. Okay, now that I've shared my hot takes and you guys can yell at me in the comments and tell me I'm horrible, let's move on to your hot takes. I asked you on my Instagram for your book hot takes. I'm gonna read through those and react to them now. I'm literally so excited. I freaking love reading your guys' opinion. One thing about me is that I have the funniest freaking followers and subscribers. Y'all are like the funniest people I fucking know. I love it. And it makes me feel like I'm funny because I'm so flattered that you would choose to follow me with all of your wit and your glory, and you choose to follow me? Clutching my pearls. I actually have pearls on. Yes, I love when that works out. No one needs more than one copy of the same story, and all these special editions that have been popping up out of nowhere in the past 2 and 3 years are only feeding into overconsumption. Yeah, I think it's true. I do think it's a delicate, balance between being an author and trying to also make money. And so I understand why some authors like put out all of these different editions and whatever, but I do find it kind of interesting when like an author has written a book that's like very much against like anti-capitalism and anti-consumption, and then they do like 4 special editions of their book. I'm like, well, I don't think that was necessary, really. I don't know. I feel like it is like a really like delicate line to walk, but yeah, it definitely gives me the ick a little bit when I see them, and I'm not a fan. First person POV is overrated. Well, yes, I do agree. I don't think I prefer. I'm more of a third person girl myself. I don't know. I'm like a third person. Oh my God, I'm trying to remember the terms from English. I think I like a third person omniscient. I think that's what it's called, when it's like you have access into like everyone's brains. Yeah, I think first person is 100% overrated. I agree. Reading mostly classics doesn't make you a better reader than others. Pretentiousness and genre hierarchies are exclusionary and turn people away from reading. I do generally agree with this person. I do think that reading classics is important. I haven't read a lot of classics. I've never read a Jane Austen, okay? My boyfriend is currently reading Pride and Prejudice, and I'm embarrassed that he's gonna read that before I can. Reading classics doesn't make you better than everyone else, but I do think it does make you more well-read, in my opinion. But I do agree that genre hierarchies definitely turn people away from reading, and I never wanna do that. That's why when I try to like approach the topic of classics or the topic of like reading like more intellectual books, I always am like, isn't your cup of tea? That's totally okay. But I do think that like reading the classics does make you more well-read. Sorry. My hot take is that it's none of my business how many books other people own or read. Interesting. I do generally agree with this. Like, it is none of my business. However, I think if you're putting your life online for others to consume, you're therefore opening yourself up to criticism. And I feel like if someone is constantly posting like humongous book hauls one month and then the next month they're decluttering their bookshelf, I guess it's none of my business, but it does give me the ick. And I do have an opinion on it because they've chosen to display their life in a way where I'm able to have an opinion on it. But I do understand why, if that's not interesting to you, then like you don't care. Slay. I love that. I love an unbothered queen. I am bothered personally, or not really. That's the thing. Like, I feel like people think I am more bothered than I actually am about that stuff. Like, I do think it's like overconsumption. I don't think it's good, and it's not something I personally want to influence. But if that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. And I don't think you're a bad person or morally terrible. But I do think it's worth investigating why we feel the need to purchase so much and then declutter and then purchase more. I just think it's something to be aware of if you're seeing that pattern in your purchasing. Like, maybe you're not making great purchasing decisions. I don't know. We should be reading books from authors we disagree with. And then they have a caveat of obviously protect your peace and avoid triggers and don't financially support authors you don't agree with. But reading authors you don't agree with challenges your worldview, allows you to strengthen your media literacy skills, and can help you better understand how to combat harmful ideas. I understand this and I do agree with it. It's not something I typically would want to do just because like I want to enjoy reading, but I do see the benefit in this, but for me personally, I'm not gonna be personally picking up a book that I like know that I'm not gonna agree with and not enjoy. I'm not gonna like want to go into that. If you just love reading so much that like you don't even mind doing that, then that's amazing. But I think I would simply DNF it. I don't think I'd be able to get through it, honestly. I got this one so many times that everyone hates paperbacks with sprayed edges. And I guess I generally agree, but I also don't care. Like, I mean, if there was a paperback with a sprayed edge and a paperback without a spray edge, I'd probably get the one that was like plain without it. But if I wanted a book and that's the only one that was available, that wouldn't stop me from buying it. Like, I just don't really care. Smut is porn on paper and it is ruining the book community. So yes, smut is written. I feel like this is no new information. That's what it is. I don't think it is ruining the book community. I think smut has always been a thing in books. Definitely has gained popularity in recent years and decades, but it's always been a thing. And I don't think it's ruining the book community. I actually think that opinion is a little bit misogynist. Of course, I think it's terrible that these like books are basically being marketed to children and with like children cartoon character covers. Like, that's fucked up in my opinion. They should have like a warning or a sticker that gets put on it for like rated R content. Like, that I think 100% is an issue. But if you are an adult knowing what you're going in for, I think you should totally be allowed to consume smut. And I don't think it's ruining the book community. I also think it's a more ethical consumption of porn. If you are above 18 consenting, then watching it has so many issues to go along with it. A lot of those videos where you're not sure if that woman is consenting or not, and written is a lot more ethical because there's not actual people having to carry out these actions and it's simply written. I don't know. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think I agree with it. People that worry about what other people are doing to their books, annotating dog-earing pages, etc., need to focus on themselves. Period. The amount of times that I get comments on my social media of like, oh my god, the spine is cracked. Oh my god, you dog-ear your pages. Oh my god, you annotate, you're ruining the book. Shut up. Why? Get a life. Why do you care? Buying secondhand books to ruin with craft projects or otherwise destroy is fine. Totally agree. I actually did this with a secondhand book I got for like 50 cents, and I made like a tablecloth out of book pages by just like taping them together when I hosted book club one month, and it was great and no regrets. And I've kept that book and I keep using pages out of it for like junk journaling and things like that. I love having at least one book that I'm using for like craft pages. That's totally fine. People who get mad about that are so dramatic. Again, they need to also get a life. The don't judge a book by its cover saying is just for people, not actual books, period. Like, judge a book by its cover. Okay, this one's actually kind of drama because it's happening in the same thread as the other one about smut. Shaming people for reading smut is not it. If you don't want to read it, that's a decision that you're free to make. So shouldn't it be the same goes for us? You are actually the problem, not people reading smut. 100% agree. I think we do need to work on marketing smut books and making sure that they're clear to parents who maybe aren't in the book community that this book does have smut in it. That should be a lot more clear. But yeah, shaming people for reading their and shaming women specifically feels misogynist. It doesn't, not good, not a fan of it. And I think it needs to stop. Like, again, get a fucking life. I don't understand this take at all. I think really any energy that we're putting into shaming women for reading their porn, consuming it in a pretty ethical way, should be redirected to shaming porn companies and sites like Hub that are known traffickers and are cause so many ethical issues and are profiting off of a really horrible industry. I think we should be, redirecting it. This is obviously a part of a larger conversation. I think a lot of women who are in find it empowering and love it. I think that's awesome. But we also can't talk about it without recognizing the horrible reality, which is that it does open up a lot of opportunities for traffickers and really bad people. And both can be true. So I just think us fighting over written smut is old and it's tired, and we need to move on to something that actually matters. Colleen Hoover's books are just trauma dumps. She can write an addicting story, but let's be real, a lot of them just pile on suffering for shock value. Okay, I do feel slightly, I've read Verity and I've read It Ends With Us, and I'm gonna be honest, I loved Verity. Okay, I'm sorry, I did, I liked it. It Ends With Us, I binged that book, but I can recognize that it objectively isn't good, but I read it very fast. And I haven't read a new Colleen Hoover in like 3 or 4 years. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I'm not an avid reader and I haven't read a lot of her books. However, I do agree with everything you're saying. I think it's totally okay if you enjoy reading Colleen Hoover and that's like what gets you into reading, then I think that's great. Everyone reading is great, and all reading, like there isn't like a more valuable reading. That being said, I definitely agree with this, but I'm not like mad about it, I guess. Like, yeah, there's some trauma dumping. Yeah, it's a lot of shock value, but I think that she's not the only culprit of this. I think a lot of like the dark, horror-y stories, which I don't know if she does all of that stuff. Again, I'm kind of going off of like Verity, because that one's like dark kind of horror vibes. And I feel like that genre kind of demands that type of writing. But I can't really say much for her other books. So I don't know. I kind of agree, but like, it doesn't really bother me, I guess. People are responding to the smut comments. So one person says, smut is not ruining the book industry. It's simply much openly discussed and advertised than it previously was. Because there are hundreds and thousands of authors who still write about important topics and write poetic stories and write in similar style to how many classic authors once did. It is just now that reading is becoming less associated with being intelligent and for the higher class because it is available to everybody, and people are openly reading about themes not associated with intelligence, and people are taking issue with the fact that more people want to read now and it's no longer their niche hobby. That one right there. Hating the romance genre, and I mean hating, not general dislike, is a consequence of misogyny. Yup. I will say this, because I don't love reading romance, but I love it as a genre, and I love people who read romance. I think it's such a fun, girly thing that we can indulge in, and not just indulge, but like take seriously as well. I think it takes a pretty talented writer to make a captivating romance story, and I totally agree. 100% agree. Yes. I won't judge anyone who reads mostly romance, but if you offer to recommend books to someone and they're only romance, it's frustrating and doesn't actually feel like good recommendations. I think it just depends what kind of recommendations you're asking for. Like, if you ask for literary fiction recommendations, but someone gives you romance recommendations, then obviously that's annoying. But also, if they know that you love romance, obviously they're gonna suggest you romance. I don't know. I think this is why it needs to be like more okay to like watch some content creators. Hello, Thomas. Watch some content creators just for entertainment value, but not actually take their book recommendations. Because as I said previously, a lot of the people that I follow love romance and they love fantasy, but I actually don't really like either of those genres that much. So I don't usually take these content creators' recommendations, and that's fine. So I don't know. I think it's fine if someone just only reads romance. I don't think it's bad, but maybe just don't look for them for recs and look for someone else. Getting every special edition of the same book is more like hoarding than collecting. Like, why do you need 5 copies of one book just because the covers are different? I don't know. I think if you do this for like 1 or 2 books, I feel like it is collecting, but I can see how some people would view it differently. But I feel like if I don't know. I guess I don't really care. I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble. A lot of TikTok books are overrated. I've read a fair few and they've never lived up to the hype. Yep, 100% agree. Only reading book with smut is just as bad as having addiction. No. And again, I don't even like smut, by the way. To be clear, I don't read smut. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it at all. But a fiction, like, I'm not gonna get into the full thing, but like, you know, actual humans in it who might be getting hurt in order to make that video and in order to make that content, and written is not. So I do not think it is ethically or morally nearly as bad. And I'm going to not read any more smut or comments because honestly I'm stressed and I'm getting emotional. Book goals and challenges often discourage deeper reading and reflection in favor of getting higher numbers. 100% yes. I like it and I enjoy gamifying my reading with having a reading goal, but I do recognize that I sometimes do opt for shorter books in order to reach this, and I don't love that about it, and it's something that I want to do less of. Oh my god, there's so many. I hate deckled edges. Yeah, I mean, I get why you think this. I don't really care, honestly. I feel like the farther we get into this video, the more my responses are, I don't care. I just I don't care. I never noticed them or cared about them before I became a content creator, and people will be like, oh my god, I wanted to read that book, but I had deckled edges. What? I never noticed that. People can't just enjoy books anymore. It needs to be either the best thing ever or the worst. 100%. What happened to 3-star ratings? I feel like I only see 1-star or 5-star. Where did they go? Where did the 3 stars go? I never see them. Normal People is Sally Rooney's worst book. I actually don't agree. I do think that it's Conversations with Friends, but I love them all. And Normal People is my second least favorite though, but I just, putting Sally Rooney and worst together, it's my least favorite, Conversations with Friends, but it's not her, like, all of her books are like 5-star reads for me, okay? Like, I love her. I love her writing style. I love literary fiction, but I often find that I can't binge it. But with a Sally Rooney, I can binge that thing. I'm not mad about that being her worst book. Just like using the worst and Sally Rooney in the same sentence is just like, I could never. Goodreads ratings cannot be trusted at all. 100%. Like, you don't even have to have read the book in order to put a Goodreads rating in. I never look at ratings of books before I go to read one, just because I don't know. I guess I don't really care. Like, if I have a content creator or a friend that I trust give me a recommendation, I'm going to trust that a lot more than I'll trust the fact that it's rated 2 stars on Goodreads. Like, I don't give a fuck, basically. AI in social media platforms is a big no. Yeah, I do agree. I understand why it could be helpful, like for the Spotify Wrapped, for example, and that uses like AI. I do get it, but I am generally quite adverse to it, and I don't like it. Yeah, I agree. Memoirs and biographies are the best genre. Real people's experiences are so interesting. I do agree. I recently was asked my favorite genres, and I said literary fiction, and then my second one, I was like, I think it's memoir. I don't know. I love memoir. Just Kids by Patti Smith, Crying in H. by Michelle Zauner, The Bell Jar, Talking as Fast as I Can. These are all books that I love and adore. I want to read more memoirs this year because I totally agree. Not every book has to be a literary masterpiece. Some books can just be for fun. 100% yes, but also on top of that, we can recognize that we enjoyed them, but they're bad books. Like, we can be like, that was written horribly, and there was not much character development, and it was kind of uninteresting, but I ate it up, and I think that's fine. Like, we can admit when it's not great, but still admit that we enjoyed it, and both can be true. Stephen King is a trash author, not just writing content, but his writing style. I haven't read any Stephen King in the last 5 years, so I don't have a concrete opinion, but I just thought that was such a crazy, intense way to put it, and I respect it. Freida McFadden books feel so formulaic. It's like they're written by AI. Yes. But I'm not mad about it. I don't know. I like Freida McFadden. She's my go-to audiobook. If I'm I don't know what audiobook to listen to, I'll just listen to a Freida McFadden. Because I don't usually like to consume literary fiction books over audio format, because I just find that sometimes I miss details. So I like to consume my thrillers or that, or romances and that vibe over audiobook. So I don't know. So I guess I agree with you. Again, this is an example of I enjoy them, but I can recognize that they're not great books, you know? Tracking my books on Storygraph and writing reviews is half the fun of reading. I don't agree with this. I actually find book tracking kind of annoying. I do like knowing where I am at my book goal, but I actually don't even rate my books on my book tracking apps. I don't often actually post about. Like I like barely ever will actually write a review, and even more than that, I sometimes don't even give it a star rating. So I do disagree with this, but I respect you if you enjoy it, because I feel like the ratings are for like other people, whereas me knowing how many books I read is like for me. So I do that. But I don't know. Some people love it and I respect that. I like looking at other people's, but it just, when it comes to like my own, I'm just like, I don't care. But some of you guys have complained and you've been like, can you please update your Fable? Can you update your story graph? And I need to start actually putting reviews on there so you guys can like know what I'm reading. Authors have to start taking more time to write their books. This is kind of loaded. I mean, in a perfect world, every single author would have 10 years to write every single book and make it perfect, right? But unfortunately, like, this is their job. And for some of them, this might be their second job, but they're not even a full-time author. So yes, I get why that would be nice and important and lovely, but I also need to remind myself that like, these are like real people who like need to make money, and how they make money is writing books. So I mean, yeah, in a perfect world that would be great, but unfortunately we live under capitalism. The Hunger Games aren't as deep as everyone says they are. Did you read the books? Did you read them? I think you might have not read did you read the books? I'm sorry? Wrong. So wrong. I disagree so strongly I can't even put it into words. Audiobooks are better. Hard disagree. For some they are. Daisy Jones and the Six, that's better on audiobook. Don't agree. I love audiobooks though. So, and if that's your thing, my partner, he basically is exclusively on audiobooks because he runs, and that's how he gets his reading in when he's running, and I love that for him. I love audiobooks, but I do enjoy reading a physical book more. Reading only one genre or type of book is not healthy. I don't disagree. I don't think that it's like, a lot of people like don't read at all. Like, would you consider them not healthy? And then if someone only reads one genre of book, I don't think that's unhealthy. I don't agree. How is that unhealthy? Like, a lot of people aren't reading at all. I think it's great that they're reading. If they found a genre that they like and it brings them joy, go for it. I don't know. Okay, I'm putting my phone down. I've been filming for so long. Thank you guys for sending in those submissions. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like. And if you thought that I was funny and quirky and so cute and you want to subscribe, then I would love it. But you don't have to if you don't want to. But like, I would love it. I do not take for granted the fact that you carve time out of your day to spend it with me. I really, really appreciate it. And if you want to hang out with me more, I have a vlog channel. I'll link it in the description, but it's at Diaries of Tay, and it's so fun. It's very like cozy vibes over there. It's a little less yappy and more like cozy hanging out. So if that's your vibe, I think you'd love it. And that's all for me. I love you so much. Bye.